Welcome to another episode of the For the Love of Cricket podcast with Jim and Akim. We'll be discussing the first semi-final in the 2023 ICC Cricket World Cup between India and New Zealand. India so far has been unbeaten. They have won 9 from 9 and are on track to equal Australia's record of winning 11 straight games in a World Cup. Australia did this in the 2007 edition. New Zealand, on the other hand, they started out well. They won 4 straight, then they lost 4 straight, and then they easily defeated Sri Lanka in their 9th game, their final game, to secure their spot in 4th position and be the last qualifier for the semi-finals stage. What are your thoughts on India thus far in this tournament?
I think they've been very impressive as a unit. All the members of the team seem to be firing from 1 to 11. Everyone has had a role to play and they've played it very well. Mohammad Shami has come into the team and he's done fairly well. He's done brilliantly, as a matter of fact. Shubman Gill came into the team after having Denge, and he has done fairly well with the bat. Kuldeep Yadav has been good, Jadeja has been good. All the members of the team are firing. Yadav has come into the team and he has played some very good knocks as well.
You mentioned they have a very good team. Their top 5 is clicking. Yadav comes in at 6. He is probably their weakest link, but he is playing a role that is quite different to the others. He is a more counter-attacking player, and if necessary, he gets the score going pretty quickly. Do you see any chink in that batting armor?
I don't see any chink in the batting armor, to be honest. The only thing I would probably say is that they don't have any left-handers in the top order. They don't have a left-hander until number 7 when Ravindra Jadeja comes to bat. It might prove a bit challenging if they have to face a good left-arm spinner like Mitchell Santner, who they'll face, or it would probably help to have a bit of variety for somebody like Trent Boult, who will be the main danger for New Zealand with the new ball. But outside of that, the batters are very adept at playing spin, so I expect them to probably counter Mitch Santner fairly well, and they're all world-class batters, so I don't necessarily see that as a weakness. It would just be good to have some variety.
I think Mitchell Santner will be under pressure this game. New Zealand hasn't been getting much power play wickets outside of Matt Henry. The last game, Trent Boult got 3 wickets in the power play against Sri Lanka. India hasn't been losing many wickets in the power play. They haven't been losing the captain Rohit Sharma early, and when Virat Kohli comes to the crease, he gets a score. If they can't get past those 2 guys, the left-arm spinner Santner is basically non-existent. I also think that they are looking to take that 5th bowler for New Zealand out.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Neesham, Ravindra, Glenn Phillips are in trouble. The only problem I would see India having is, as I said, losing 3 early wickets. If they can get India down 3 inside of 15 overs, then there might be a bit of problems for the Indian batting lineup. We saw a game where, against New Zealand, where they lost 6 wickets, Virat Kohli slowed down drastically in his innings, and the momentum of the innings didn't carry through to the end, as what we've seen in the other games. Your thoughts on the New Zealand team?
This New Zealand team is a team that I think will probably be a bit low on confidence. They've lost a key part of their 11, the strongest 11 with Matt Henry being out. It means that a lot of reshuffling has to be done with the bowling and how that is structured. Matt Henry is a brilliant bowler inside the power play with the new ball for them. He's one of the best bowlers in the world inside the power play. He has some of the best numbers as a power play bowler. That would significantly weaken any team, and it weakens this New Zealand team. Luckily for them, Lockie Ferguson is back into the team. He's not necessarily a great power play bowler, but he adds a bit of pace and something different to the attack. He came back in the last 2 games, I think, but he had missed the middle part of the tournament where they faltered a bit. Mitch Santner's role will be very important in this game, and it will also be interesting to see how Tim Southey goes against the likes of Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, and possibly Virat Kohli inside the power play, because he is predominantly a new ball bowler, and that is where he is best.
New Zealand has faltered in their last 5 games. They won the last 4 straight. It might seem that the team has stumbled really, but they actually played good cricket in 3 of those 4 losses. The one against Pakistan, they made 400. They were within a boundary away of defeating Australia, chasing that 290. And the game against India, they got India 6 down in a tricky situation, close to the end of the chase, but India got home with about an over to spare. The game against South Africa is really their throwaway game. They got punched in the face in that game. They were beaten soundly. All of those showed that the batting unit is still together. It's really the bowling that they have been struggling with. And you mentioned that it's due to injuries. They are basically down to 3.5 bowlers now.
Pretty much.
4 bowlers. Lucky has been struggling in the tournament. And speaking of bowling, India has exactly 5 bowlers, but in my eyes, if both teams were to pick up a bowling injury at this moment, India would still be in a better position.
Yeah.
They would still have 40 short overs, and they might be able to pinch together 3 other guys to get the other 10. New Zealand barely finds 35-40 already. Now losing 10 more would be finding half of the bowling innings. Do you think New Zealand has the ability to upset India?
I think they have the ability to do it. If you look at their pedigree in tournaments, in world tournaments, they have been one of the most consistent teams over probably the last 20 years in terms of getting into the world tournament semi-finals and finals. They have consistently gotten there. I think they've also beaten India on a couple of occasions in these games, quarter-final games, not sure semi-finals, but I think quarter-finals definitely. So they have the ability to do it. They're always the underdog. They're the perennial underdogs. Nobody actually fancies them in these types of games, and I think that is where they generally thrive. Looking at how India's form has been in this tournament though, and how New Zealand has almost staggered into the semi-finals, you really have to favour India's chances in this game, however.
Additionally, with all we've said thus far, they are playing at the Wankhede Stadium. It's a stadium that has produced some very tricky chases throughout this tournament. We saw Sri Lanka get bowled out for 55. We saw Australia go down 91 for 6 against Afghanistan.
7.
We saw Bangladesh got to about 110 for 6 as well, when Mahmudullah got that century. And we saw another team get bowled out for 150. What happens at the Wankhede, what we've seen at the Wankhede so far is under lights batting second within the first 20 overs, it is very tricky. There have been a number of collapses. I think the team that wins the toss would be looking to bat first. If New Zealand can win that toss, do you think there is more in their favour?
Would you want to bat first though and give the king of the chase a chance to chase in a game like this? Or where do you take your chances?
At the moment, I think India will make 400 if they bat first.
looking at that bowling attack and how it is almost patched together, you have Trent Bolt who is short for 10 overs. Tim Southey not necessarily short for 10. I would think probably 8, but based on how things are going, they'll have to give him 10. Lockie Ferguson has to bowl 10. Mick Santner bowls 10 as well. And then the next 10 comes from Glenn Phillips and Ravindra. Chapman if he plays, Neesham if he plays. You're not sure about the next 10, and Neesham has been on the expensive side in this tournament. Ravindra has been, it's been okay. It hasn't been great. I think Glenn Phillips, out of all of them, has probably been the most consistent with the ball in the tournament. But that being said, it's not a fearsome 10 overs and not a fearsome 60 balls to probably the best batting team in the tournament.
Let's think about all that you've just said. If teams are collapsing in the second innings within the first 20 overs, why would you think about the last 15 or the last 10 overs? If you bowl first against India, you're sure to bowl at 50.
Yeah, you must bowl
that could be 400. So, in my eyes, I would take the statistical advantage.
True, it makes sense. It makes sense.
So you think India wins this game pretty easily?
I don't think it will necessarily be easy, but I think they'll win the game.
And who do you think will be the star performers in this contest?
I think Jadeja will have a standout game with the ball. I'm looking for Jadeja and Mohamed Shami to be very good. I'm also looking for Virat Kohli to come good in this game. I think Rohit Sharma will get a score as well.
Virat Kohli comes good with the ball again, or
with the bat, he's averaging 99 with the bat in the tournament. He's been good almost every single game, so I expect that to continue.
My bet is on Shubman Gill. If he gets going, those part-timers for New Zealand are in serious problems. And New Zealand?
I think it's a game that cries for Kane Williamson. Kane Williamson has to play one of his greatest knocks in this game if he has to get New Zealand into the final. I think if New Zealand are to win this game, they have a very good chance at winning the competition. This game is the game that will really decide it for them. That is how I see it. I think Kane Williamson has to come good. I also think Trent Bolt has to lead the attack and he has to produce in this game. He has to pick up wickets because in order for them to beat India, they have to dislodge early wickets. India has to be 40 for 3 for them to have a serious chance at this game. So Trent Bolt has to come good with the ball. And then I also think that Devon Conway is overdue. Young Ravindra has been brilliant in the tournament, but if Conway can get a very big score, get a good score early and push the Indian bowlers back, especially seeing that he's a left-hander and could probably negate Ravindra Jadeja, is very important.
Yeah, you mentioned getting the Indians out earlier. I think if they can get India 5 or 6 down after 35, they are in for quite a challenge.
I think New Zealand are in the game if they can reduce India to less than 300 runs. It seems very difficult when you look at that batting lineup, but we must also remember that that batting lineup stops at 7. Mohamed Shami is the man that bats at 8. So if you look at that, they have 6 very good batters and Jadeja, who's a very good all-rounder as well. And then after that, it's Mohamed Shami. So if they can get 3 wickets inside the first 15 overs, it is game on.
I think 300 with that Indian bowling lineup is a stretch still. I would aim for 260, 270. We've been speaking about how Pakistan and Afghanistan would approach their games, where they would get teams to under 260, 270 and then fancy themselves to get that. Or they would get a score around there and fancy themselves to defend it. Actually, the best team we have seen thus far that has done that is India.
Yeah.
Bumrah, Shami, sure 20, Jadeja, sure 30, Siraj is good on his day. and then could leave you there.
Sure thing.
They can strangle any team to under 250 easily. So you have to get them 270, 260 thereabout, and you might have a chance. If you bat first, get 300.
Yeah.
If you bat first, 300 is probably in trouble because you have very cold to deal. So it is very it's a very tough game for New Zealand, but they have been known to be the dark horses of tournaments. They are the team that wears black, and when you see black, you know trouble is around the corner. You have anything else to add?
No, that's all from me.
Alright guys, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.